What is survival mode? Let me start by saying it is very common, especially in the US. As you're watching this, relax your shoulders, relax your facial muscles, loosen your belly. Imagine you are a caveman walking through the jungle and you hear a deep growl come from a nearby bush. You walk forward a few more steps and you hear the growl again, louder this time. Your adrenaline spikes, and from here you have two options. You can run away or you can charge forward. When you are in survival mode, you are in this state 24/7, and it is destroying your body. Survival mode is so destructive simply because your body is not supposed to be in it very long. Going back to the caveman example, the caveman would have simply run away after hearing the deep growl. And once he got to a safe place, he would have been completely out of that fight or flight state. He would have been completely back to normal. But if you never get out of it, and all of those stress hormones keep being released, they will begin attacking your cells, and they will make you 1,000 times more susceptible to disease. Not to mention, you're just not going to be very happy with your life. Luckily, getting out of it is really simple, but how do you even know that you're in it in the first place? For starters, if you released a lot of tension during our little exercise earlier where I told you to relax, that's a pretty strong indicator. If you are feeling constantly anxious or stressed, if you feel completely numb as well, that's the opposite end of the spectrum of the same issue. If you go about your day with a sense of guilt, these are all telltale indicators that somebody's in survival mode. Your situation doesn't have to be life or death for you to be in this state either. You may just be at a difficult moment in your life. Maybe your job is really stressful, or maybe you're a new parent. Either way, it is highly important you get out. If that means quitting your job, I guarantee you there's other jobs that you will be happier at, less stressed at, and that will pay you the same, if not better. Because at the end of the day, you do not want to sacrifice your health for money. Because money comes and goes, but your health, that's all that you have in this life for the rest of your life. So it is way more important than any dollar amount you could put on it. Like if I offered you $10 million, but told you you wouldn't wake up tomorrow, you absolutely would not take it. Because intuitively we know time is way more important than money. And so the same with health and with life. And so do not trade your health and your life for money. It's just not worth it. For me personally, when I was going through this, I thought the creativity that I had when I was a kid and when I was going through middle school and when I was going through high school, I thought it was completely gone. I thought it had died. As soon as I became aware that I was basically chronically stressed and I was in survival mode, and I made these tweaks, I felt my creativity coming back again. I started enjoying my life more. And it makes sense. When your brain thinks you're in a life or death situation, it is not focused on all of the cool art you could make, on all of the cool places you could see in the world, of all of the joy there is in your life and in the world around you. It's not focused on that. It's focused on pure survival, and that's it. And so that's why it's gonna shoot up all these adrenaline and all these stress hormones instead of allowing you to just be at peace and be alive and be joyful. Quite simply, it's not a good state from which to create your life. So if you want your life to look a certain way, this is a state you need to get out of to create that life. So let me show you how to get out of it. I remember one day I was at work in the oil rigs. There wasn't that much work to do, and my manager was nearby, and I was just scrambling to do something because I didn't want him to see me not doing anything, because I didn't want him to think bad of me. I didn't want him to think that maybe they didn't need me that much. I didn't want him to tell me something, like maybe he was already thinking about firing me. Maybe he was gonna fire me. Like my mind just started racing. All of a sudden, I got a moment of clarity, and I told myself, I am safe. Because you see, at its core, survival mode stems from not feeling safe, from perceiving threats in your environment. The threat in this case was my boss, who could, in this example, cut off my access to resources by firing me. But in reality, even if he saw me not doing anything, if I was on my phone or something, it probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal. It's just so easy for your brain to latch onto a thought and then spiral. So by telling myself, I am safe, multiple times in my head, it made my brain realize, we're not gonna die right now. We're okay. So that's the first step. Tell yourself you are safe. Be it out loud or in your head, either way is totally fine. One day that stopped working for me. This tool was really helpful, but I had abused it so much that it just stopped working. Because I would tell myself, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. But I wouldn't do anything to try to feel safe. I wouldn't do anything to consciously calm down. I was just spamming it, hoping that I would calm down by myself, like just by saying that, without putting any active effort into calming down. I was just waiting for it to happen by itself. When I realized that it wasn't working for me anymore, I remembered this one technique that I had learned a long time ago, which is to breathe in a particular way. Breathe in 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, exhale for 8 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and repeat. As I did this, I could feel the insane tension I had in my shoulders being released. And after a few repetitions, I felt so good. And I even got a funny little feeling in my brain. If you got worried by me saying that, by the way, that I got a funny feeling in my brain, that's the survival mode talking. That's not you. Okay, so we've covered 2 tips so far. Here's a few more tips that will 100% work. They're a little bit more simpler, they're a little bit more basic, but they're so simple that it works. Number 1, eat carbohydrates, bread, sugar, carbs, anything. Because basically, carbohydrates reduce the stress hormone cortisol, which is responsible for all the stress floating around in your body. So when you're in survival mode, all this cortisol is like constantly wrecking your body. And when you eat carbs like sugar, bread, that cortisol goes down, and it goes down and down and down. So you can begin to relax more. It's also a good tip to go to sleep. Like if you want to go to sleep, you can eat more carbs. This one's like especially helpful because it chemically calms you down. Like your biochemistry calms you down. It's like a way more guaranteed type of stress relief than some of the other methods that we've talked about. 2, meditate. For a set block of time, be it 2 minutes or 30 minutes, however long you want it to be, however long you have as well, or just sit down and breathe. Like your only goal is to breathe. You can also close your eyes if you want to, or you can have your eyes just barely opened. That'll help you focus a lot more and your mind won't wander as much. But most people just close their eyes. It's totally fine. It's up to your preference. A meditation app that I like is called Insight Timer. This is not sponsored. I like it because when I'm in deep meditation, I don't like hearing my alarm. And so this will take you out of meditation in a more soothing fashion. 3, you can take these supplements: magnesium, L-theanine, and ashwagandha. Magnesium is an essential mineral. It relaxes your muscles. It also reduces anxiety, and 98% of the population is deficient. Taking magnesium makes it so that you know 100% sure that you're not deficient, that phase is covered. And truth be told, there's been times where I've been mega stressed out and I've just taken a little bit of magnesium and it's gone away. Maybe not completely if that's the only thing that I've done, but it has gone away. L-theanine gives you a more stable mood. It also relaxes you without necessarily making you sleepy. I like to pair it with magnesium right before I go to bed, just because like that's the ultimate sleep combo. but it can also work just for general stress relief throughout your day. Do note, if you're going to take magnesium and L-theanine together at the beginning of your day, you're probably going to be a little bit sleepy after you take it, so just watch out for that. But it is going to reduce all of your stress. Ashwagandha is an adaptogen, meaning it helps you adapt to stress. It helps your body deal with stress better, and it also makes it easier on your body having that stress hormone, and it reduces that stress hormone in general. It generally calms you down. It can also increase testosterone if you're a man. However, watch out to not overdose on ashwagandha, because it can make people emotionless if they take too much. So take the recommended dose that's on the bottle, and that's it. I've made this mistake in the past where I've taken double the recommended dose that's on the bottle and just become completely emotionless, completely numb. You do not want to do that. Listening to music that calms you down, I like not really Spotify music. I think the best for this is YouTube music, be it like slowed and reverb songs you find on YouTube. These like playlists that are like curated on YouTube that say things like songs that make me feel alive, songs that make me feel grateful for life, a playlist to feel loved, like stuff like this. Like if you go down the playlist rabbit hole on YouTube, that can be a great source of relief as well. If you are a boxer or if you have access to a punching bag, I highly recommend getting some boxing gloves and just taking it all out on the bag. By taking out all of your emotions on the bag, you are in the fight phase of the fight or flight response. And by doing this, you take a more empowered role in your survival mode, because you're not really in survival. It's like you're signaling to your brain that you're fighting back. And you're also doing great exercise. And by the time you're done with it, you're gonna feel all those endorphins rushing around, and you're generally gonna feel a lot calmer and a lot safer, which is the goal. So I think this is the most effective tip that has helped me so far to get out of survival mode. And that is to literally just focus on how safe you are. For example, for me, I'm in my car right now. So what that would look like for me is focusing on how safe I am in my car. Being like, my car is so safe. I am so safe in my car. This parking lot that I'm in is so safe. It's so well lit. I'm so safe here. I am like focusing on how safe you are. And the reason this works is because survival mode is a feeling of not being safe. And so it's like a step above just telling yourself that you are safe. It's literally focusing on all of the evidence around you that you are safe. And just focusing on you don't have to say it out loud like, oh, I'm so safe in my car. Just putting that attention, putting that focus on how safe you are, that will massively benefit you and massively help you calm down and get out of survival mode. I would not recommend saying, oh, I am so safe because I am not in Afghanistan or something like that. Like comparing your safety to non-safety, because you're still focusing on non-safety. Where you really want to make sure you just focus on safety and you focus on how safe you are. I hope this helped you get out of survival mode. If this did, click this video somewhere on the screen to learn about how powerful you are. Thank you for being here, and I sincerely know that you'll employ these tools and whatever situation you're in can be more bearable. You got this.